My voice is a bit hoarse from being at the footy cheering for Hawks. Great 1-point win, but it really got me, picked me up after that disappointing thing that was called A Wrinkle in Time.
Where are we?
We heard a cry out in the universe.
My father's alive.
We believe he is, and we're here to help you find him. We are in search of warriors.
Warriors who serve the good and the light in the universe.
A Wrinkle in Time is directed by Ava DuVernay and it stars Storm Reid, Chris Pine, Mbatha-Raw, I believe, Zach Galifianakis, Levi Miller, Reese Witherspoon, Mindy Kaling, and Oprah Winfrey. Now, A Wrinkle in Time centers on this girl. Her father disappeared like 4 years ago, so she's really been acting out these last 4 years. She's got a brother that's super smart, and then all of a sudden this Reese Witherspoon just appears in their house one night, and they, you know, her brother's super smart, starts conversing with her, and her brother sort of takes her to these different places to meet these weird people, and then they go on an adventure to try and find her lost dad. It's super confusing to explain, and it's super confusing to watch, because it feels like there's no cohesive flow, and doesn't feel like she's the main character, or she's just more of a passive main character, you know what I mean? Like, not a very active one to the story. A Wrinkle in Time is hands down the most disappointing movie of the year, because Ava DuVernay is a great director, and I was very excited to see it. And you get Disney involved, you get like a large budget with like a weird sci-fi, huge spectacle, gorgeous special effects, sweeping shots, you get all that. And then you get this movie, and you realize, oh, this script is terrible. The script by far is atrocious. It is dull, boring, it writes the characters poorly. Things are there for no reason. Oprah Winfrey is a giant for 15 minutes. No reason why. The closest hint you get is to a subtle jab about accepting body sizes. When clearly in the conversation that they brought it up, they were talking about, oh, you're a giant, you're in my backyard where everyone's 1.5 meters tall. That's the level we're dealing with. You cannot apply it to that. The dialogue from everyone is clunky. It all feels like it's written right out of a novel. Like, you know how sometimes a novel, you read it, looks good, speak it, sounds terrible, right? They took it right out of a novel or a kid's novel, and it sounds really weird and disjointed and very clunky. Especially with Storm Reid's, like the main character's little brother, who's a real genius. His dialogue was terrible. He felt like it's tough to pull a smart child off and make it seem convincing. So they try and do he's a smart child, convincing, he uses a lot of full sentences of words. He doesn't seem like a kid that fits in 2018. He seems like some sort of robot, and it just makes his character arc, I would say, very predictable. Especially when you have in contrast to his sister, the main character, who does not speak like that, yet is still very smart. Performance from everyone is fine. They're fine. There's not much you can do with them when you have such a horrid script. And I would talk about the kids acting and them being really bad. And some of them are really bad. But I'm not going to hold it against them. I'm going to hold it against the script for giving them terrible dialogue to say. Because it's hard enough being a kid actor. It's even harder being a kid actor with terrible dialogue. You just get labelled as a terrible actor. But I do want to talk about one positive thing in the movie, which actually made the movie good at times. And keep in mind, these are very good, very sparingly times. And that's Chris Pine. Chris Pine just elevated the movie to interesting, to a well-acted movie. Like, good performance. Best performance of the movie. Highlight of the movie. Any scene Chris Pine is in A Wrinkle in Time is very interesting in the way it's applied. It's very interesting in the way it is executed. And when he's on screen, it's great. When he's gone, energy's gone, the acting drops, it's just not good at all. And you got even actresses like Mindy Kaling, Oprah Winfrey, and Reese Witherspoon acting, and their performances, you can only look at it and go, oh, alright. The CGI and visuals, and they're all very well done. It's a very well shot movie. It's very beautiful. It really, like, Ava DuVernay really knows how to capture the landscapes of these worlds that you visit. And the colours are very lush for the most part, and they're used very well. But the editing, man. The editing, you can tell it's been chopped up so it can be condensed into a less than 2-hour movie. It feels very condensed. It doesn't take its time. It feels both rushed and clunky, and it doesn't seem right. So I'll be very interested in seeing, hey, was there a 2.5-hour cut? Because even though I didn't like the movie, I'd still be interested in a 2.5-hour cut, because I want to see these scenes explained. Like the scene in the trailer where Storm Reid is explaining to Levi Miller and her little brother how the ant gets across the string. It's not in the movie. It was a really integral part to the trailer setting up the premise, but it's not in the movie. So the premise of character motivations for Chris Pine, they're not really there. They're not very well explained. All we know is, oh, he wants to touch the universe. Whatever that means, he just does it. And whereas in the trailer it clearly identified, oh, you know what, teleportation basically. Clunky editing and a terrible script, it's not really boding well for A Wrinkle in Time. The movie also is very boring for the most part. I mean, especially when the scene with Zach Galifianakis appears, he's just Zach Galifianakis in a weird head. It looked like that he was hired for like 3 days work. And they were like, alright, Zach Galifianakis, yeah, he can be on like the poster and the trailer and we listed as the main cast, and he's only there for 10 minutes at most. And then there's the message of the movie. I don't necessarily agree entirely with the message of the movie. It feels really clunky in its delivery. It feels very, I don't know, it's just not a great message that I think that should be. It's not a message that's expressed well, I don't think. It feels like there's very little nuance to the message and very little wiggle room for it to be applicable to anyone. That is if you actually understand the message and it comes across very clearly, because it doesn't seem to come across very clearly. That came down to the editing and the way the script was written, and it didn't come across well at all. Even though A Wrinkle in Time has Chris Pine and good visual effects and cinematography, the movie does have mediocre acting, a terrible script, which impacts that acting, and atrocious editing. So it's just not overall it's just overall not enjoyable to sit and watch over once, let alone over and over again. I would say that A Wrinkle in Time, don't want to touch it with a long pole. Have you seen A Wrinkle in Time, or what did you think of it? What sci-fi movie are you looking forward to? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe, come on Mbatha-Raw, and I'll see you guys next time. Well done, you made it to the end of the video. Why don't you click on one of these two videos for more content, or subscribe so just to be reminded of when I upload. Also, I've got a Facebook link. I don't have an external link to that because you've got to be part of YouTube's partner program for that. And I don't have enough subscribers or watch time to be part of the YouTube partner program. So, subscribe. That'd be great.